Each year, the American Society of Landscape Architects honors the best work of professionals from across the country and around the world. The awards program is supported by the ASLA Fund. The fund's mission is to expand the body of knowledge for the landscape architecture profession and promote the value of landscape architecture to people everywhere. The world today is facing enormous challenges: climate change, access to water, threats to human health, failing infrastructure, rapid urbanization, vanishing natural resources, social inequities. But landscape architects are taking the lead in creating sustainable, resilient, healthy, equitable, and beautiful environments in every corner of the globe. Today, we celebrate those who exemplify the many ways landscape architects address the world's most pressing problems. They fulfill the profession's commitment to stewardship of the built and natural worlds. Presenting the ASLA 2019 Professional and Student Awards.
And now, please welcome the President of the American Society of Landscape Architects, Sean Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks. Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the 2019 ASLA Awards presentation. We will begin our celebration by presenting the Bradford Williams Medal. It's my pleasure to introduce Brad McKee, Editor-in-Chief of Landscape Architecture magazine. Thanks, Brad.
Hey, Sean.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. You know, from back there, I told Sean it would be fun to come out and find everybody dancing to that music, but I didn't see anybody doing it. Anyway, first of all, I want to congratulate all of you. Congratulations to all the award winners. We are so proud of you and all the fine work you send us to hold the best. That means a lot. So congratulations to you guys. Each year, the advisory committee of our magazine presents 2 awards for excellent writing about the landscape. One is for writing in the magazine itself, and the other is for great coverage in general media. The award is named after Bradford Williams, who was, for many years, a corresponding secretary of the Society. He presided over ASLA's national headquarters in Boston at that time. He was a past editor, publisher, business manager, and the driving force behind Landscape Architecture Quarterly, which is now Landscape Architecture Magazine. That's us. So this year's Bradford Williams Medal for Coverage in LAM is being awarded to Ann Raver, the wonderful Ann Raver, for her article, Where the Water Was, which appeared in October of 2018. Unfortunately, Ann can't be with us today, but she's grateful for the honor, and we will see that she gets her award. So let's give Ann a round of applause, please. And I'm thrilled to announce that the award for landscape coverage in general media is being awarded this year to Ujiji Davis, the brilliant Ujiji Davis, ASLA, for her article, The Bottom, The Emergence and Erasure of Black American Urban Landscapes. It appeared in the Avery Review, issue 34, in October 2018. Please welcome Ujiji Davis. Hello. Thank you. And we have a present for you. And I have a medal. Wait a minute. This is your medal. Got it? Thank you, Gigi. Wonderful. All right, here we go.
Thank you, Brad, and congratulations to Ann and Ujiji. Each year, the ASLA Student Awards program gives us a glimpse into the future of our profession. ASLA has provided complimentary registrations for the official entrant of each Student Award-winning project. Now, please allow me to introduce the Student Awards jury member, Diana Fernandez.
Thanks, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Our jury chair, Linda Jewell, wasn't able to be with us here today, but I'm honored to introduce the ASLA 2019 Student Award winners and their advisors. First, I would like to thank my colleagues, the 2019 Student Awards jury. Linda Jewell, jury chair. David Governor. Robert Gray, Damian Holmes, Kendra Hyson, Maki Kawaguchi, Signe Nielsen, and Daniel Tai. Would you please stand? Let's have a round of applause for our jury. Our jury met in June and considered entries representing 50 programs from across the US and the world. For those of you who cared about our shared future, and for those of you for all good reasons are deeply concerned, you will find this work is inspiring in its scope, aspiration, rigor, and deep commitment. The jury was heartened and inspired, and now it's my honor to introduce the 2019 Student Award winners and their advisors.
Accepting honor awards in general design, Wiley Chiwang-un and advisor Scott Melbourne from the University of Hong Kong for A Plastic Tide. Dong Chang and advisor Jeffrey Wong from the University of Edinburgh for Visible, Invisible, a successional landscape approach toward Holocaust and Jewish Cemeteries Memorial, Krakow, Poland. Amanda Tan from Harvard University Graduate School of Design for Engaging Hallowed Ground, re-envisioning the arrival ground of Arlington National Cemetery. Lingyi Haju, Yi Yang, Sunji Young, and advisor Maria Gula from Cornell University for Remix, Imagine the Resilient Future for Pedox Island in 100 Years. And receiving the Award of Excellence in General Design is Yi Song from the University of Texas, Austin for Y-shaped jetty system, a sustainable solution for coastal ecosystem protection, population retreat, and global tourism development. Accepting the honor award in community service, Gangnan Wonju University team for Beyond 72 Hours, Seoul, South Korea. Accepting the Award of Excellence in Community Service, the team from Cal Poly Pomona and their advisors, Leanne Milburn, Wayman Lee, and Steve Rasmussen Kansian, for constructed efforts, building resilient communities in the Los Angeles gateway cities. Accepting honor awards in analysis and planning, Natalie Wei Yan Law from the University of Hong Kong for Water as Conflict Mediator, a toolkit for a decentralized system in the Jordan River Basin. The team from Huazhong University of Science and Technology for Urban Green Space Network, capturing air particulate matter. The team from South China Agricultural University and advisor Xiaoyang Chen for From Risk to Productivity, a successional salty agriculture system in the Pearl River Delta. Jingjing Lai from University of Virginia for Marijuana Justice, rebalancing the penalization and profiteering of cannabis through landscape. The team from School of Landscape Architecture, Beijing Forestry University for Post-Alice Landscape, the construction of antifreeze thaw oasis on permafrost area. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Analysis and Planning is Amanda Tan and Wei-Shang Chow from Harvard University Graduate School of Design for Mobility as Equality, building toward the Olympic, post-Olympic LA Transit. Accepting the Honor Award in Residential Design, Yentan Gu from University of Toronto for Community Beyond the Fence, community building through landscape intervention strategies in Gare District, Ulaanbaatar. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Residential Design, Adam DeHeer and Nicholas Sund from the University of Oregon for co-designing green sanitation infrastructure, a framework for informal settlements. Accepting the award in research, Wei-Yi Chow from University of Toronto for Community, Agriculture, and Carez. Torrey Talbot with advisor Roxy Thorin, University of Oregon for Co-Creation with Animals. Receiving the Award of Excellence in Research, Huaiyu Zhou from Tsinghua University, Beijing for Monitoring Design, Stormwater Management Process Visualization and Evaluation. Accepting honor awards in communications, Anson Ting Feng Wong from Harvard University Graduate School of Design for Stonewall Trees 2040, a critical discussion of their alternative futures. The team from University of Berkeley with advisor Chip Sullivan for Ground Up Journal Issue 08, Home. Kristen Hu from the Harvard Graduate School of Design for Landscape Games, tools for collaboratively shaping our environment. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Communications is the team from School of Landscape Architecture, Beijing Forestry University for Communications Urban Regeneration with Community Building, ASLA Micro Regeneration Handbook. Accepting the Honor Award in Student Collaboration, Matthew Maquetto from Harvard University Graduate School of Design and Massachusetts Institute of Technology for the Cincy Stitch. The team from the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign with advisor Mary Pat McGuire for Before the City, There Was Sand, designing a resilient Calumet terrain. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Student Collaboration, the team from Mississippi State University, with advisors Corey Gallo, Peter Summerlin, for cultivating the future, designing and constructing a didactic garden. Congratulations to the ASLA 2019 Student Award winners.
Let's do it. Well, I have no idea what I'm supposed to say now. Oh, and now to present the ASLA 2019 Professional Awards, please welcome Professional Jury Chair Andrea Cochran. Thank you.
Each year, the American Society of Landscape Architects honors the best work of professionals from across the country and around the world. The World's Awards program is supported by the ASLA Fund. The Fund's mission is to expand the body of knowledge for the landscape architecture profession and promote the value of landscape architecture to people everywhere. ASLA was honored to have a distinguished group of experts serve on the awards jury, including Henri Bava of Agence Terre, Paris, Kofi Boone of NC State University, Gina Ford of Agency Landscape and Planning, Deb Gunther, Methuen, Seattle, and John King of the San Francisco Chronicle, Pam Lynn of the Milwaukee Public Schools, John Vinci of Vinci Ham Architects, Chicago, and Keith Wagner of Wagner Hodgson Landscape Architects, Burlington, Vermont. Joining the jury for the selection in the research category were Stephanie Raleigh on behalf of the Landscape Architecture Foundation and Galen Newman on behalf of the Council of Educators in Landscape Architecture. Would you all please stand? Join me in a round of applause for their commitment and dedication to the awards program. Thank you. We're honored to present the 2019 Professional Awards of the American Society of Landscape Architects.
The General Design category recognizes site-specific works of landscape architecture that exhibit distinction in design, function, context, and environmental responsibility. Receiving the honor awards in General Design are Sundance Square Plaza, the heart of Fort Worth, by Michael Ferguson Landscape Architects for Sundance Square. This beloved plaza in the heart of downtown Fort Worth replaced a pair of surface parking lots. The animated and engaging space has become the city's living room. Designed for a multitude of uses, this energetic site has ignited change in the city's core. The combination of movable chairs, fixed benches, and seat walls ensures that the site can adapt to a variety of festivals, concerts, and community celebrations. Its playful fountains and shade-producing umbrellas make the space a dynamic community destination. Equally welcoming on a peaceful morning or a lively evening, the plaza is a spirited social hub. It's emerged as a symbol of urban pride and an emblem of the richness of the city's diverse cultures. Changchun Culture of Water Ecology Park by Xue Shi for Changchun Urban and Rural Construction Committee and Changchun Construction Company Limited. In northeast China's Changchun, a closed 80-year-old water treatment plant has been transformed into a remarkable public park. The project has breathed new life into a once derelict industrial site. The designers threaded 300,000 square meters of green space through the linear site, including a forest landscape corridor and habitats for native flora and fauna. Many of the original historic structures were respectfully retained and repurposed. New areas for play, relaxation, and art activate the park for visitors of all ages. The design preserves cultural memory while demonstrating cutting-edge sustainability practices, including its rainwater system, born from a former water purification facility. Barangaroo Reserve by PWP Landscape Architecture for Barangaroo Redevelopment Agency. Barangaroo Reserve is a stunning revival of Sydney Harbour's historic headland. The design rebuilds a long-lost connection to the pre-colonial past while creating an active, naturalistic, environmentally sensitive civic space. The headland serves both people and animals, on the land and in the water. Its design includes a dramatic foreshore of 10,000 sandstone blocks excavated directly from the site. It's a dramatic way of bringing back a landform important to the original Aboriginal culture and a major element in the project's compliance with One Planet Living principles. Pathways, lawns, an underground public space, and native plants have turned a once degraded industrial site into a model of cultural sensitivity and sustainability. The Bentway by Public Works Office for Urban Design and Landscape Architecture for the Bentway Conservancy, in partnership with the City of Toronto and Waterfront Toronto. The Bentway is a reimagined space beneath Toronto's Gardiner Expressway. The project was created with the active participation of the 7 surrounding neighborhoods. It's transformed one of the city's least liked places into a model of shared public space that has captured the soul and spirit of the community. The concrete columns that support the elevated highway have been made into a series of outdoor rooms, paths, and venues for community programming and creative expression. This site, which is designed as a continuous but multifaceted experience, shows adaptive use on a grand scale. The Bentway's innovative approach to stormwater management also ensures that this new place of common ground will help sustain both the city's environment and its civic life. Chulalongkorn University Centenary Park by Land Process for Chulalongkorn University. For the first time in 30 years, an enormously valuable property in the heart of Bangkok was not turned into another block for commercial use. Instead, it was designed as a vast public park that is the epitome of green infrastructure. Created for beauty and active civic use, the site also mitigates urban flooding and responds to climate change in a region that faces severe environmental challenges. The 11-acre park includes wetlands, detention lawns, a retention pond, and the biggest green roof in Thailand. All are integrated into dynamic public spaces where visitors can enjoy playgrounds, an amphitheater, gardens, and meditation areas. Bold concepts strike a balance with intimate moments, reminding the world that landscape architecture can help a city under threat learn to live with water rather than fear it. Lower Rainier Vista and Pedestrian Land Bridge by Gustafson Guthrie Nickel for the University of Washington. The Lower Rainier Vista project on Seattle's University of Washington campus creates the framework for one of the most spectacular views in the Pacific Northwest. The design lowered a road that disrupted the viewshed and created a land bridge over it that covers a multimodal transportation hub. By regrading, reconfiguring, and reimagining its vast lawns, this project has repaired the visual connection between the campus and Mount Rainier, an ideal first conceived by the Olmsted brothers in 1909. Washington Fruit and Produce Company Headquarters by Berger Partnership for Washington Fruit and Produce Company. an Eastern Washington fruit and produce company has used a carefully designed landscape to house its headquarters. The site celebrates the group's connection to the region's agricultural history and creates an inspiring work environment for its employees. Surrounded by a major highway, industrial buildings, and the company's own processing facilities, a simple earthen landform of native plants wraps the building and the courtyard. The result is a calming, lush green oasis that resembles the local ecology in miniature. A walkway cuts through the berm, providing glimpses of the surrounding hills, and a green roof on top of the lunchroom further reinforces the company's intrinsic ties to the land. Yellowhorn Farm Park, Battling the Threat of Desertification by China Construction Design Group for Inner Mongolia Yellowhorn Agricultural Technology and Yellowhorn Exhibition Center. The once fertile grasslands of China's Inner Mongolia have suffered from desertification caused by overgrazing, logging, expanding farms, population pressure, wind, and drought. In the past 20 years, approximately 3 million acres of desert have been rehabilitated through local and national efforts. This collaborative work is celebrated in this educational park and observation platform in the middle of a Yellowhorn farm. The designers bridged the past and the future by using local materials, plants, and construction methods, all combined to craft simple structures and viewing platforms that frame the reborn landscapes. Augmented reality also helps tell the remarkable story of transformation. Hunters Point South Waterfront Park Phase 2, A New Urban Ecology by S.W.A. Balsley and Weiss Manfredi, with ERA for New York City Economic Development Corporation and New York City Department of Parks and Recreation. This remarkable, multifaceted waterfront park in Long Island City has transformed a contaminated brownfield site into a model of sustainable design. The area has diverse recreational and cultural uses, which grew from a collaborative process involving many disciplines and major public input. Through an innovative blending of landscape architecture and infrastructure and a host of sophisticated resiliency strategies, the designers have proven that design excellence and strong environmental practices are fully compatible. Hunters Point shows that public spaces built by public agencies can at once look good, serve community needs, and be successfully resilient. Glenstone by PWP Landscape Architecture for Glenstone Foundation. This private museum in Potomac, Maryland is set among 230 acres of rolling hills, streams, meadows, and woodland paths. The landscape architect has integrated the natural environment, architecture, and works of art into a seamless sensory and intellectual experience. Though large in scale, the project's power comes from its restraint and its contemplative character. This is a museum site where the natural world is in the foreground, creating a visitor experience in an impeccably composed landscape that extends beyond art and architecture. Its beautiful interior water court and 2 miles of walking paths, trails, and bridges pass through a dynamic environment of 8,000 trees and indigenous plants, all punctuated by world-class art. Receiving the Award of Excellence in General Design is Heritage Flume by Stimson for Heritage Museums and Gardens. Inspired by the historic grist mills of New England, the Heritage Flume Fountain is perfectly attuned to its wooded site on the grounds of a Cape Cod Museum and Gardens. The water feature is an impeccably crafted gem of simplicity and beauty. Traversing 208 feet through a forest dell and ending with a dramatic 26-foot-high waterfall into a daylily garden, the design celebrates the melding of built forms, cultural history, and nature. It is at once sculptural and fully at home in its setting, providing visitors with a delightful sensory experience.
Receiving honor awards in general design are Michael Ferguson Landscape Architects for Sundance Square Plaza, the heart of Fort Worth. Sui Shu for Changchun Culture of Water Ecology Park. PWP Landscape Architecture for Barangaroo Reserve. Public Work for the Bentway. Land Process for Chulalongkorn University Centenary Park. GGN for Lower Rainier Vista and Pedestrian Land Bridge. Burger Partnership for Washington Fruit and Produce Company Headquarters. China Construction Design Group for Yellowhorn Farm Park, battling the threat of desertification. SWA Balsley and Wise Manfredi with AirUp for Hunters Point South Waterfront Park Phase 2, a new urban ecology. PWP Landscape Architecture for Glenstone. And receiving the Award of Excellence in General Design is Stimson for Heritage Flume.
The Analysis and Planning category recognizes excellence in the wide variety of professional activities that lead to, guide, or evaluate landscape architecture design. Criteria include environmental sensitivity and sustainability, the promise of successful implementation, and the value to the client, the public, and other designers. Receiving honor awards in analysis and planning are Plus STL, Growing an Urban Mosaic in St. Louis by TLS Landscape Architecture, Shanghai, Object Territories, and Derek Hefferlin Design for Great Rivers Greenway. This ambitious plan and competition finalist envisions a greenway network in the heart of St. Louis to unite a physically fractured city. The multifunctional and resilient approach ties together parks, neighborhoods, and cultural, social, and economic assets. The innovative concept uses public space and landscape strategies to overcome 20th century infrastructure barriers, like freeways, rail lines, and highway interchanges. The plan is rooted in inclusion and sustainability and respect for St. Louis's storied institutions. The design knits together the urban fabric for a future that is economically sound, environmentally responsible, and socially unifying. Girl Scout Property Planning, National to Local Strategies by Studio Outside for Girl Scouts USA and Girl Scouts of Southwest Texas. Led by landscape architects, a national planning team examined trends affecting the future of the Girl Scouts of America. They crafted a vision based on how local council properties and programming interact. In the process, they demonstrated that landscape and mission are inseparable. The principles that emerged were applied at a regional scale in a beautifully conceived plan for a camp in the Texas Hill Country. The design will help the Scouts engage directly with the environment, putting a premium on communal spaces and new opportunities for learning. The project also establishes landscape as a driver in shaping the next generation of Girl Scout facilities nationwide. Florence Griswold Museum, The Artist's Trail, History, Ecology, and Sense of Place by Stimson for Florence Griswold Museum. At the Connecticut home of American Impressionism, this master plan for museum grounds focuses on the creation of an artist's trail. The path honors the roots of the movement and the landscapes that inspired the artists. Paintings done on the site helped inform the recreation of the landscape and the trail. The design focuses on the site's edges as defined by ravine, hedgerow, meadow, and river. Special care was taken to ensure sustainability as the museum expands. The goal is also to establish thriving plant and animal life that harkens back to the site's origins as a special place that inspired some of the nation's most important art. McIntyre Botanical Garden, Master Plan for Resiliency and Healing by Mik-Young Kim Design for McIntyre Botanical Garden. This master plan for a new botanical garden in a park in Charlottesville, Virginia, was driven by the community's desire for a place of healing and unity. Responding to the steep topography of the wooded site, the design includes terraced gardens and discovery walks, play areas, meadows, groves, wetlands, a waterfall, and event spaces. All facilitate natural and personal exploration. The plan fosters a sustainable and resilient site, encouraging a new kind of civic engagement. The project demonstrates how landscape can influence both the ecological and cultural systems of a community. The Cleveland Flats Connections Plan, Connecting a Missing Link by CMG Landscape Architecture for Land Studio, Ohio City, Port of Cleveland, Building Cleveland, and Michael Baker International. The extremely thorough Flats Connections plan creates an open space and trail network in Cleveland that leverages the unique conditions of its historically industrial neighborhood. The project will revitalize the riverfront and build connections to surrounding communities. The plan functions at a multiplicity of urban scales. It draws on underutilized and vacant sites to invigorate the riverfront, improve sustainability, and allow access to park space for isolated communities. The design transforms slag heaps, rail infrastructure, and challenging topography into a dynamic public realm rooted in equity, connectivity, and resilience. Revitalizing the Great Wall, Datong Ancient Great Wall Cultural Heritage Corridor in Shaanxi Province, China, by BLLA and Beijing Forestry University for Datong Municipal Government and Datong Planning and Natural Resources Bureau. China's Great Wall is one of the world's most important cultural resources. But this ancient treasure faces deterioration, a decline in tourism, and impoverished nearby communities. Through historical and cultural analysis, public participation, and field surveys using the latest technologies, this master plan creates a blueprint for revitalization. The 258-kilometer Datong Ancient Great Wall Heritage Corridor is rooted in the region's landscape and cultural heritage. The planning team has already begun ecological remediation and development of scenic areas. Their efforts will not only anchor tourism development, they'll awaken the sense of place and community. Restoring the Knobs, a master plan for Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest by Studio Outside for Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest. Since 1929, the privately owned Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest has been one of Kentucky's most popular natural treasures. This creative master plan builds on the Bernheim history and the original Olmsted Brothers concept. The design helps the 15,000 acres tell a fresh story that fulfills its long-standing mission of connecting people to nature. Led by a landscape architect, an interdisciplinary team has developed an approach that includes new and repurposed facilities, expanded and reinterpreted tree collections, walking trails, and green infrastructure practices. All reinforce the story of water that is a central message of both the forest and its relevance in a changing world. Public sediment for Alameda Creek by Scape Landscape Architecture DPC for Resilient by Design Bay Area. This proposal for the San Francisco Bay Area recognizes the importance of sediment flow from streams into the marshes and mudflats of tidal ecosystems. The particle movement helps maintain healthy communities and combat rising sea levels caused by climate change. Created with community input, this radical redesign of the Alameda Creek enables better sediment transport, provides fish habitats, and creates opportunities for public spaces along the waterway. The plan not only puts sediment movement on the agenda for landscape architects, it challenges public notions that sediment is a waste. Instead, it is one of the most valuable things we can hold on to as coastal processes are changing. Receiving the Award of Excellence in Analysis and Planning is T.O. Core, Downtown Parks and Public Realm Plan by Public Work Office for Urban Design and Landscape Architecture for the City of Toronto. The Downtown Parks and Public Realm Plan provides a visionary roadmap for the transformation of Toronto's core. The comprehensive design works at all scales, taking advantage of both iconic experiences and hidden opportunities to reimagine civic life. 5 big ideas drive it. First is reimagining the valleys, bluffs, and islands that surround the city as a core circle. Second, creating a network of great streets. Third, reconnecting downtown to the waterfront. Fourth, placing parks at the heart of distinct districts. And fifth is stitching small local spaces into the city fabric. It's a bold, complex framework of enormous power, capable of spurring a sustainable future for a growing city.
Receiving honor awards in analysis and planning are TLS Landscape Architecture, Shanghai, Object Territories, and Derek Hefferlin Design for Plus STL, Growing an Urban Mosaic in St. Louis. Studio Outside for Girl Scout Property Planning, National to Local Strategies. Stimson for Florence Griswold Museum, The Artist Trail, History, Ecology, and Sense of Place. Mick Young Kim Design for McIntyre Botanical Garden, Master Plan for Resiliency and Healing. CMG Landscape Architecture for the Cleveland Flats Connections Plan, connecting a missing link. Beijing Forestry University and BLLA Revitalizing the Great Wall, Detong Ancient Great Wall Cultural Heritage Corridor in Shaanxi Province, China. Studio Outside for Restoring the Knobs, a master plan for Bernheim Arboretum and Research Forest. Scape and the Public Sentiment Team for Public Sentiment for Alameda Creek. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Analysis and Planning is Public Work for TO Corps, Downtown Parks and Public Realm Plan.
The residential design category recognizes works of landscape architecture that exhibit distinction in design, function, context, and environmental responsibility. Entries include single or multifamily projects and may be new construction or renovation. Receiving honor awards in residential design are Plains, Prairie, Plateau, A Retreat at the Edge by Carbo Landscape Architecture. This stunning residential project draws inspiration from the oak savannas prairies and plains of southeast Texas. Throughout the 5 acres of the site, experiences have been created to bring nature to the forefront. An entry set amid native grasses, sedges, and ferns welcomes visitors. An elevated walkway leads through a canopy of large oaks. A pool and spa reflect the sky. Green roofs help hide small structures, while paved areas are softened with natural elements that facilitate drainage. A variety of outdoor living spaces also serve as evocative garden rooms. Sustainable and subtle, this home offers an immersive escape where nature takes the lead. Kua Bay Residence by Lutzko Associates. Created in the point of transition between mountain and ocean, this serene vacation retreat in Hawaii Island's Kona is a finely crafted microcosm of geology, landscape, and culture. Movement through the property is a journey. The sequence of spaces is inspired by the flow of the elemental forces of lava and water toward the Pacific. A progression of experiences begins with a driveway cut through a 10-foot-high channel of lava rock. The path moves through a contemplative interior courtyard with reflecting pools mimicking ponds that form in lava formations. The journey continues through the house itself and finally ends where the negative edge pool melds seamlessly with the ocean beyond. Whidbey Island Residence by Berger Partnership. On a wooded waterfront site on Whidbey Island in Washington State, this house sits back several hundred yards from the edge of a bluff at the interface between forest and meadow, protecting the visual integrity of the coastline. A rain garden filled with native plants and a vegetated roof help immerse the home in the landscape on the forest side. And a grassy meadow on the water side allows views of Puget Sound. Understated yet profound, this is a home that tells an important story of how human values must include deep respect for the natural world. Where Agriculture Meets the Coastal Woodlands by Longwell MacDonald. Located in an old apple orchard, the landscape created for this second home in a Northern California farming community is deliberately restrained. The design allows the site's spectacular views to predominate and not interfere with the live oaks that have reclaimed portions of the orchard. The landscape adopts materials commonly found on farms in the area, including the concrete walkways and platforms, gravel paths to a vegetable garden, board-formed concrete steps at the entrance, and wood steps to a revitalized fruit orchard on the lower section of the site. The scarce water supply is carefully conserved, making this project as environmentally viable as it is beautiful. Haslow on 8th, From Urban Blight to LEED Platinum Neighborhood by Place. This multifamily residential development in Portland, Oregon is a model of sustainability, environmental sensitivity, and urbanism. The landscape includes green roofs, rain gardens, constructed wetlands, and a pedestrian water street that collects and conveys stormwater to its own natural organic recycling machine. Haslow is the first and largest project of its type to treat 100% of its wastewater on site. With parking for 1,200 bikes, as well as pedestrian-friendly amenities and gathering places, the site makes a significant contribution to the urban fabric. The approach demonstrates the power of landscape architecture to blend both green and social virtues in a seamless whole. Receiving the Award of Excellence in Residential Design is Sonoma Mountain by Huckard Design Group. The property is set on 4 acres within an open space preserve on Sonoma Mountain in Northern California. The meticulously designed outdoor rooms for this tiny weekend home include a pool, a grilling and dining area, and a family gathering spot, and take full advantage of spectacular views. A finely crafted board-formed concrete wall separates the parking area from the living spaces. Natural stone and weathered steel help bring clarity and consistency to a design for outdoor living that is at once thoroughly elegant, utterly welcoming, and perfectly at home in its stunning natural setting.
Receiving honor awards in residential design are Carbo Landscape Architecture for Plains, Prairie, Plateau, a retreat at the edge. Let's Go Associates for Kua Bay residents. Burger Partnership for Whidbey Island residents. Longwell McDonald for Where Agriculture Meets the Coastal Woodlands. Place for Hazelo on 8th, from Urban Blight to Lead Platinum Neighborhood. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Residential Design is Hawker Design Group for Sonoma Mountain.
The research category is awarded in partnership with the Landscape Architecture Foundation and the Council of Educators in Landscape Architecture. It recognizes research that identifies and investigates challenges posed in landscape architecture, providing results that advance the body of knowledge for the profession. Receiving the Honor Award in Research is Using Social Media Data to Understand Site-Scale Landscape Architecture Design, a case study of Seattle Freeway Park by Bo John, Oklahoma State University, and Yang Song, North Dakota State University. This innovative research project uses social media data to study public attitudes and behaviors in a Seattle park. By mining Instagram posts from more than 2,000 people, the research team has created a new kind of post-occupancy evaluation for the social media age. This inventive analytical method allows landscape architects and city officials to gain insight into public space design. The study shines light on the ways a park is actually used, the degree that it resonates with visitors' emotions, and how users respond to specific design elements. This approach to research gives designers a new way to gauge reactions to their work, literally through the eyes of the public they serve. Receiving the Award of Excellence in Research is Site Commissioning, proving triple bottom line landscape performance at a national scale, by Andrew Pogan for the U.S. General Services Administration. The Site Commissioning White Paper, issued by the General Services Administration, helps set verifiable landscape performance goals that can be monitored and maintained over time. Its groundbreaking methods will foster a more resilient built environment and help prove to decision makers the environmental, financial, and human value of well-designed landscapes. Developed by a rigorous process and led by landscape architects, this highly accessible resource is poised to alter land development decisions well beyond the federal realm.
Receiving the Honor Award in Research, Bo Zhang and Yang Song for using social media data to understand site-scale landscape architecture design, a case study of Seattle Freeway Park. Receiving the Award of Excellence in Research is Andrew Pogan for site commissioning, proving triple bottom line landscape performance at a national scale.
The communications category recognizes achievements in sharing knowledge about landscape architecture history, art, technology, theory, and practice with those within and outside the profession. The jury considers the effectiveness of presentation, innovation in approach or delivery, and the value to the audience. Receiving honor awards in communications are Artful Technology Methods for Communicating Non-Standard Construction Materials by Design Workshop, Aspen. Landscape architects frequently design with non-standard materials. They range from custom water features to art installations to an infinite variety of trees and vegetation. These ideas can be challenging to communicate to clients and contractors, especially when it comes to visualizing what a project will look like and how it will function. This innovative method uses 3D scanning, modeling, and printing to generate precise physical representations of non-standard elements. The technology helps enhance the design process, resolve installation issues, and bridge the gap between the landscape architect's vision, owner's expectations, and the contractor's needs. What's Out There? Cultural Landscapes Guides by the Cultural Landscape Foundation. Created through a partnership between the Cultural Landscape Foundation and the National Park Service, the What's Out There? Cultural Landscapes Guides is a compelling online public resource. The well-designed website leads the visitor through the legacy of 5 city landscapes, highlights significant designed places in the community, and introduces the designers and visionaries who created them. Far too often, landscape architecture has been undervalued in the public mind. Through a rich collection of images and text, this site demonstrates the impact of landscape architecture and landscape architects on the quality of American urban life. LA Plus Interdisciplinary Journal of Landscape Architecture by University of Pennsylvania Stuart Weitzman School of Design. LA Plus facilitates a robust dialogue between the landscape architecture profession and other disciplines, including those from the realms of culture, art, science, history, and the built and natural environments. With its array of perspectives and stunning visual style, this groundbreaking journal places the idea of landscape firmly in the world at large. It fosters a necessary conversation that occurs in few other settings. The uniquely interdisciplinary approach bridges theory and practice, and its excellence has raised the quality of discourse in the profession and beyond, while inspiring its diverse readership with beautiful graphics and outstanding production values. The New Landscape Declaration, a call to action for the 21st century by the Landscape Architecture Foundation. This extraordinary book reflects a remarkable breadth and depth of thinking by landscape architecture's most creative minds. The work skillfully asserts that landscape architecture has a central role to play in shaping the world of the 21st century. Born out of the 2016 Summit on Landscape Architecture and the Future, the Declaration reflects critical conversations the profession must have about issues such as climate change, urbanization, and global inequity. The book also underscores the need to diversify innovate, and create a bold culture of leadership, advocacy, and activism. This vast compendium of challenging ideas makes a passionate case for why landscape architecture matters. EnvisionColumbus.org, a conduit for alignment and empathetic outreach in community building, by David Rubin Land Collective for Heritage Fund, the Community Foundation of Bartholomew County. EnvisionColumbus.org has been an extremely effective tool in engaging this design-rich Indiana community in the new Downtown Strategic Development Plan. The beautifully designed site has demonstrated the importance of new technology in raising the voices of diverse constituencies. The online resource transcends traditional citizen forums by creating new ways to share information and collect public views. This project doesn't just inform an important planning process for the civic realm, it helps strengthen the cohesion of the Columbus community itself. A living, breathing movement, an introduction to the Dakota Access Pipeline issue by Alma. Confronting an issue of enormous scale and profound stakes, the designers created a series of interactive tools to raise public awareness about the myriad issues and risks inherent in the 1,110-mile Dakota Access Pipeline project. Using online maps, exhibitions, videos, and social media, the creators shared their landscape architecture perspective. Their site identifies threats to people, wildlife, and landscapes, offering alternatives to a potentially catastrophic enterprise. Authoritative and persuasive, this invaluable resource demonstrates the power of visualization to raise public awareness. It also validates the role of landscape architects in bringing clarity and constructive engagement to complex environmental and cultural issues. Receiving the Award of Excellence in Communications is the FLOMO, a mobile messenger for sea level rise by Bionic for Resilient by Design. This clever community education tool brings vital information to a flood-prone area in San Rafael, California. The area is home to thousands of Spanish-speaking immigrants, many of whom have limited understanding of the threats posed to their community by rising sea levels and storm surge. FLOMO, a van covered in curiosity-provoking bilingual graphics, is equipped with a flood gauge, a laser to project flood levels, and social media connections. The vehicle is an educational outreach resource at schools and community gatherings. It sends a compelling yet approachable message that in an era of climate change, flooding will affect everything and everyone.
Receiving honors awards in communications are Design Workshop for Artful Technology Methods for Communicating Non-Standard Construction Materials. The Cultural Landscape Foundation for What's Out There Cultural Landscape Guides. Landscape Architecture Foundation, the New Landscape Declaration, a call to action for the 21st century. David Rubin Land Collective for EnvisionColumbus.org, a conduit for alignment and empathetic outreach in community building. ALMA for a living, breathing movement, an introduction to the Dakota Access Pipeline issue. And receiving the Award of Excellence in Communications is Bionic for the Flomo, a mobile messenger for sea level rise.
The Landmark Award recognizes a distinguished landscape architecture project completed between 15 and 50 years ago that retains its original design integrity and continues to contribute significantly and sustainably to the public realm. Receiving the Landmark Award is Crosswinds Marsh Wetland Interpretive Preserve by Smith Group for Wayne County Parks and Recreation. Born of necessity 20 years ago, this preserve was created to meet regulatory mandates caused by the expansion of the Detroit Metropolitan Wayne County Airport. The resulting Crosswinds Marsh is a 1,000-acre wetland that has become a national benchmark for ecological restoration and environmental design. Ambitious and daring from the beginning, it is one of the largest self-sustaining wetland mitigation projects in the country. It is treasured by the community as a site for nature education, birdwatching, fishing, hiking, and quiet contemplation. The area is also populated by hundreds of wildlife species that have made their home in this tranquil, life-affirming miracle of sustainability and restoration.
Receiving the Landmark Award is Smith Group for Crosswinds Marsh Wetland Interpretive Preserve.
Congratulations to all of our 2019 ASLA Professional and Student Awards recipients. And thank you for joining us to celebrate some of our remarkable work in our profession and our students. This now concludes the program. Please join us in the back of the room for a champagne reception and stay for the blockbuster closing session. Enjoy this afternoon and thank you for this.